Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And let's jump straight into it, where they say, you know, when it rains, it pours, and we've had an explosion of deals over the last couple of days with obviously Mbeumo, the here we go. Now we've had another here we go confirmed with an exit that we need in order to push forward with the transfer market, and it's none other than Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. Let's go through all the latest there. So, Barcelona advancing on deal to sign Marcus Rashford from Man United. Offer via intermediaries, loans plus buy option. Man United have agreed. Not done, but final stages. Flick approves. 27-year-old international suits Barcelona on football / financial level. Now that came from the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. David Ornstein, dropping another bomber that Marcus Rashford is advancing in a deal to sign Marcus Rashford. Then we had Fabrizio Romano saying that Barcelona have sent official bid in the morning to Manchester United for Marcus Rashford. Internal meeting took place in the last 24 hours as Luis Diaz deal considered too expensive, plus Barcelona convinced to go for Marcus deal well underway and also approved by Hansi Flick. Now, then we've also had Sky Sports saying that Barcelona have a broad agreement in principle with United over the signing of Marcus Rashford. Discussions will centre on the portion of the wage payment and possible compensation should Barcelona not exercise the option to buy. Here we go, another termination clause in a loan deal. I'll give you my thoughts in a second. I'm sure you would get involved in the comments though and share your thoughts. Ben Jacobs said that Manchester United have decided to sanction a loan plus buy option, allowing Marcus Rashford to join Barcelona. Rashford's top priority has always been Barcelona, with a loan also explored earlier in the window. Deal not agreed yet, with wage structure under discussion. Could end up a similar package to Villa's January loan. And then Fabrizio Romano has since come out saying Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, here we go. So Romano with the here we go. Verbal agreement in principle between all parties involved, with Barca planning for medical tests next days. Loan deal with buy option. Details being finalised today. Then Man United will authorise his travel to Spain. So give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. So it's a loan with an option to buy, no obligation to buy. By the sound of things, there is going to be some sort of penalty clause or something in that shenanigans in the loan deal. Give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. I mean, it does help us from a PSR perspective in terms of getting his wages off of the books. Even if we have to pay a reduced salary with his 300 grand a week wages, it is a massive stain on the club from a financial perspective, especially for a player that has no pathway back into the first team under Ruben Amorim. Just another annoying deal, isn't it? Can we not just please sell some of these players? But the reality, like Barcelona, because I think on one hand, right, Barcelona were ready to pay £58 million for Nico Williams, and we're now sending Rashford on loan with no obligation to buy. It is an option to buy by going off of those reports. They're not going to pay all of his wages by all accounts as well. And it's just really, really sucky that we're in the position. But on the flip side, on the other hand, right, I was speaking to my brother-in-law earlier, and the reality is, if we were buying Rashford, right, why would you buy a player that's down tools for his hometown club or his boyhood club and has had discipline issues, i.e. going out on the piss in Belfast and not turning up for training the next day, and clearly has training issues because the reason he's not in the Man United team under Ruben Amorim is because of off-field stuff or behind-the-scenes stuff, and Amorim kept coming out and saying he's not training well and he's not, and that's the reason why he's not in the team and not in the squad is to do with that. Why would you buy that player for money and then also give them the sort of salary that Rashford's demanding? And he hasn't exactly played, is he worthy of a £300,000 a week player for the last 2 seasons? If the shoe was on the other foot and we were interested in Rashford and we were looking to buy him, I would be very worried about United paying money for him and paying anywhere near those sort of wages without doing what Barcelona are doing, which is effectively a loan, a try before you buy to see actually, is he worth that fee? Is he worth the wages? Can we assess him on our own terms first and reducing the risk. So I can see it both from both angles. One from our perspective, because we just want to move on, get the money in, it's homegrown profit, and that helps us massively with the rest of the transfer window. But then also from Barcelona, or a buying team, it doesn't necessarily need to be Barcelona, a buying team for Marcus Rashford, one might be looking at it and saying, well, hold on, he's had all of these issues. We don't really want to pay £40 million and £300,000 a week, although he is willing to take a pay cut. But even then, he's not going to want 50 grand a week, is he? It's still going to be 200 probably grand a week, or around that sort of figure, I would expect. And why would you do that? Why would you take that risk? So, we are in a weak position when it comes to this deal. It's incredibly frustrating, I think, from that perspective. But also, if we can get a majority of his wages paid, push that problem down the line. Maybe next summer we sell him and we actually get some money from a PSR perspective. But the reality is, when you give someone that sort of wages and they don't perform, you're always going to be trapped in this position. But it is frustrating. But then also on the flip side, I think it is what it is, and we are where we are when it comes to Marcus Rashford. And if him going on another loan, and we can and we can give ourselves some wiggle room from a PSR perspective, maybe, some money for a loan fee, etc. It's not the millions of pounds that we need to go out and buy a striker or something, but it does give us wiggle room from a PSR, and he gets his wages off of the books as well. So it is what it is. And yeah, give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I am sure that you will. And we've also had another bit of news regarding another exit, because this is going to be the key. Like, for me, the key to this transfer window is always about the exits. Can we get these players gone? Can we remove Rashford, Sancho, Anthony? I don't necessarily think Malacia is a massive problem, although, he's not going to play. So he's just going to be someone that hanging around and, So, but can we get rid of these players? That was the foundation for me, this transfer window, because that gives us a lot of wiggle room, not just this year from PSR, but also for going forward as well. It'll be massive for us. So the latest there is that Italian sport outlet have said that Juventus have reached an agreement with Manchester United to sign Jadon Sancho for £15 million. They have also reached an agreement with the player, who will sign a 4-year contract worth £5 million per season and bonuses. Again, mainly from Italian media. I want to see a bit more credibility, especially we've got David Ornstein dropping bombers all over the place. Here we goes, going around with Fabrizio Romano, even Ben Jacobs or Sky Sports, someone of that nature. A lot of the talk with Sancho and these deals done and arrangements done seem to be at the moment coming mainly from the Italian side. And I'm yet to see anything from like a credible side or from the UK side as well. But it is still encouraging. And again, if we can get that deal done and wrapped up and move Sancho on as well, the wiggle room it gives us from PSR will be huge. And then potentially, if we then do sell Garnacho and you get some money in, that with the combination of the reduced wages from a PSR perspective could be huge for us for the rest of the window. But I'll keep an eye on it for you, and I'll bring you any updates when they come out. But give us your thoughts and feelings in the comments. It'd be really interesting to read those later regarding Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. Now let's go through some incoming news. So Brian Mbeumo has been at Old Trafford today and will be at Carrington tomorrow to do his medical, media appearances and visa. Obviously he needs to do his visa application to go ahead for the tour of the States tomorrow. So that came from Laurie Whitwell saying that he's been at Old Trafford, going to be at Carrington tomorrow doing all of his medical, media. So hopefully we'll get to see things like squad number, interviews, things like that over the next few days as well. But more importantly, can we get him on the plane to fly off with the rest of the team to the States for the rest of the pre-season tour. In terms of other targets, James Ducker from The Telegraph said that Ruben Amorim is keen for Manchester United to bring in another midfielder and potentially a centre-back following Victor Lindelof's exit. Johnny Evans' retirement and ongoing concerns about the long-term fitness of Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw. And when you analyse it like that, it does make sense maybe to bring in another defender, but I don't know how much of a priority it's going to be. Strikers next, by all accounts, maybe goalkeeper, potentially centre-half. Obviously, if you've watched this morning's video, Helland is one that we're linked with, £7 million for a young 21-year-old defender, not exactly going to be, bank breaking for us as well. So that may be one to pay attention to. And when you say that, yeah, it does sort of make sense, especially with the injury concerns with Shaw and Martinez. But Martinez apparently might be going with the squad, and maybe is on track to be back. Be back. Around September time. The reports are going off of that, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see what happens there. But interesting, bringing another midfielder. I would agree. We need a midfield. We need so many players. I just don't know what we're going to get done for the rest of the transfer window, but it does seem like things are starting to pick up a little bit. Obviously, Mbeumo done yesterday, Marcus Rashford, exit today. So hopefully we can see, once we got that Mbeumo deal done, like the dominoes start to fall and everything, and maybe we can move a little bit quicker for the rest of the window. But obviously we'll have to pay attention and see what happens regarding that. In terms of midfield targets, James Ducker also said with Kone and Mbeumo signed, Bruno Fernandes may drop deeper in midfield, but Amorim wants more options there. United eyed Ederson, but Atalanta ruled out any sales, so we can box that Ederson off. I think he would have been a little bit outside of our price range. Anyway, being completely truthful with you, but he is a player that we've been scouting and actually made a bid for last summer as well. But we'll have to see which way they go down now in terms of midfielders. One other option could be Ndidi. So Wilfred Ndidi still expected to leave Leicester this summer. Leverkusen are the latest club to inquire. Manchester United have held talks and even discussed terms on the player side, but finding a number 9 is the next priority. Adding another midfielder may require an outgoing first in that area, so that'll be interesting. Toby Collier, I don't think there's interest in Casemiro. I think Casemiro's going to stay now and run out the rest of his contract. Trying to think who else we could potentially, Mainu, but there's not really any talk, although his contract negotiations have gone a bit stale. Obviously, we know Bruno's staying, Ugarte, no links with him going anywhere. So maybe it would be Collier would be the stand with maybe the obvious one to do something with the midfield, but we'll have to wait and see. And I wouldn't necessarily be pleased with selling Collier and bringing in Ndidi as a replacement. If you're going to sell a midfielder, then can we bring someone in of actual quality? I think Ndidi would do a job and would be a good backup or rotation option to go in midfield, but he wouldn't be my outstanding candidate anyway for that position. Let's put it that way. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. And then in terms of strikers, new name links. So Manchester United and Newcastle are interested in Randal Kolo Muani and have already initiated contact. Now that came from Santi. Santi's a good source of information as well, suggesting that United and Newcastle potentially could be interested in Muani. Now that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. We've been linked with worse strikers this summer. Let's be truthful. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jamie Vardy. I would take Muani over them any day of the week, but I'm not sure again if he would be one of my preferred options. But again, it depends on the price and what budget we have. Could be a cheap option. We'll have to wait and see. I'd want to see a bit more credibility though, because Santi's good, but I'd want to see a bit more substance behind that one as well. But give us your thoughts and feelings on Muani. Not too bad in terms of his stats and data. Good take-ons, good touches in the attacking penalty area as well, good progressive passes received. So as a player that can move around, attacking outputs fairly decent, good tackles. So he's a worker as well. So he is somebody that's, got attributes that I think could benefit the team. 36 appearances last season, 12 goals, 4 assists. Obviously he had a bit of a torrid time at PSG to start the season, then went out on loan to Juventus for the second part of the season. If you look at his stats for Juventus, 16 appearances, which is the top one, the Serie A one, 16 appearances, 8 goals, 1 assist. So not too bad in terms of, he picked up a little bit more when he went to Juventus. Is a player actually that we have been linked with for a while. We were linked with him before he went to PSG actually as well. So there could be some interest in Muani. Let's wait and see how that one plays out. But give us your thoughts and feelings on Muani as a potential option for striker. Good shout, bad shout. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Now, the final bit of news for you I've got is regarding Sekou Kone. So I did a video this morning and it was believed that Kone would be assessed on pre-season and then they would make a decision on whether to loan him or keep him around the first team. So Nave Sout has come out saying that plans for Sekou Kone have changed. The long-expected loan move to Lausanne, months in the making, now appears to be off the table after the player impressed Ruben Amorim and his coaching staff during training. The current expectation at Carrington is that he will stay in Manchester. So that's really interesting. Sasika Kone's obviously done enough maybe to catch the attention of Ruben Amorim and be seen as one that could possibly get some minutes and some game time this season. So so fair play to him for that. So we'll keep an eye on that one for you as well. So but give us your thoughts in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video. That's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.